Hello everybody, Gregg and Nadim here for online tennis instruction. We have another question from one of our students, and he's a high school coach in this particular case, but he's dealing with players who just don't have a concept of how to move so that they can strike the ball in what we call the strike zone. And Gregg has a really nice way of helping players with that.
So your ideal strike zone is sort of between about chest level to about mid-thigh. So you either want to take the ball as it's rising into your strike zone, or if it's a difficult ball, you may have to back up and let the ball fall into your strike zone. Now, definitely taking the ball in the rise is more difficult, but it is the ideal way to do things because you take time away from your opponent. But certainly when you learn this, sometimes it's easier to learn to back up to let the ball fall. But sometimes you've got to keep in mind, if the ball is really high and coming down past the service line, that ball will probably climb into the back fence, right? But we're going to show you a drill on how to work on this. But what the question also goes on to ask, is this something they just learn from experience? And certainly it's a bit of both. So you want to increase your awareness of where you need to position yourself so that you can hit the ball in your strike zone. And then once you have the awareness, then you're going to go work on practicing it and gaining experience so that then you will improve this over time. Right. So Nadim, let's take a look at this drill.
Sure.
So Nadim's going to the other side. He's going to feed me balls, and I'm going to put my racket down and simply just move in position and try to catch the ball in my strike zone. Now, I'm going to try to turn my body so I'm catching like this, so it's more like a forehand. If I'm going to backhand, I'm going to try and catch it this way. So let's see, Nadim. So I'm position myself. See how I'm catching the ball right here. Just going to roll the ball to the side. So we start with some easier ones. Again, there we go. It's in my strike zone. So I've got to move forward to this one, and you'll notice how I'm moving in a diagonal, cutting the ball from a diagonal. I'm taking the shortest route towards the ball. Okay, you can change up the depth and the height. So it's a higher one here. I'm actually back up, let this ball fall into my strike zone, right? If I try that same ball and take on the rise, this can be a little more difficult to do if you're not used to this, all right?
One more.
Okay, here I'm going to back up a little bit, let the ball drop. So see, I'm catching to the side. Let's see some on the backhand side as well, Nadim. So I'm moving into position. See, I'm catching the ball out to the side. So I'm just creating that awareness. Give me some shorter ones as well. And this is a common one too, where players, that was a little bit high, players get a short ball, but they hang on the baseline. By the time that short ball gets to them, they're actually playing it below their knees. So now you've taken an offensive shot and turns into more of a neutral, sometimes even defensive ball. So give me another short one again. So I wanted to move into position and see I'm catching that in my strike zone above net level. And see one more, Nadim. One more. It's moving up to that. So then what you can do is then take your racket and then try that. But taking the racket out of the equation really helps with you just to have to focus on positioning rather than having to set up as well. Let's try with the racket. So it's easier feeds here. I move in position. See, I caught that right there in my strike zone. So Nadim's going to mix it up into the court. So mix up high, deep. This one I'm going to let fall into my strike zone right there. Now, a common mistake people may make. So feed me another deep one and high. This can be very difficult to try to take this ball in the rise. So if you're beginning or just starting to do this, you may want to let that ball fall initially. When you become more comfortable, then you would take on the rise. See, last few to the backhand. See, I'm going to let the ball fall into the strike zone, push me back a little bit more. The other one's a little bit high, so I misjudged that. So here I want to back up. So by doing this drill, it just helps you to create that awareness of trying to position yourself so that you can play the ball in the strike zone. So first start with catching and then introduce the racket.